morning, gang. Welcome back, episode 5 to the No Surrender series. And today, we're going on an adventure for health. We are heading up to Hale in, where is it? Manchester. That was a shit accent. But we're going to go up to the blood labs today. We're going to have a full health assessment because not only am I in prep, Mads has started her off season, and what a great opportunity to show you the insights and the priorities in this journey. Obviously, winning a pro card is great, but being able to survive in this sport and actually achieve longevity so you can continue to maximize and achieve your goals is and should always be number one priority. So we're going to take you through the full setup of what health assessments need being done. We've got Chris today, so we'll fucking absolutely just bombard him with questions to give you guys the most amount of information we possibly can so you can continue on your journeys, continuing to maximize your progression but staying alive and achieving longevity whilst you do so. I was up at 4:30 this morning. Obviously the reality of driving up to Manchester is like 4-hour drive, 4 hours back. That's 8 hours total for the time frame that will be there, which will be like 3 hours, maybe even a little bit longer. So steps were done this morning to get ready. Food prep has been done. Guys, we don't fucking miss. No matter whether you're in off season, whether you're in fucking prep, whether you're in a recovery phase, everything should be nailed down to ensure that we are ready. Because if we're not, then, or if we're not prepared, then we'll be in a position where we get stung with the reality of not being able to maximize your progress every single day and make those accumulated progressions to be able to achieve your goals. I am back on coffee. I'm only having one a day, but episode 5 is about to go off. We are in search of health today. We're going on the adventure for longevity in this sport. Stick around!
Packing up. We are going to be on the road for a long time today. But this is what we do because zero carbohydrates for Corey. This is what we do for bodybuilding and health. So we're probably going to spend 8 hours on the road and we still need to train today, but it's all good. Stephen's going to have lots of editing time in the car, which is going to be amazing.
So yes, I am having a nice and flush before you fuckers see me and be like, Corey's been on a sunbed. I wish I'd been on a sunbed, but I'm fucking...
You look hella sunburned.
So
you look like you've been fallen asleep in the sun with like some sunglasses on because you've got like white eyes. It's quite scary.
Something Mads forgets every single time we prep and pack our food is what, Mads?
Well, it's not wholly solely my responsibility, but we often do forget cutlery.
Do you want any specific cutlery?
Not really.
I normally go for 2 spoons and 2 forks just to double bubble. But laptops are packed.
See, the thing is, because we fuck about so much, I already have old cutlery in here. The travel spoons.
Yeah, they're rotten. Does anybody else have travel spoons?
I used to have one in the car door.
You still do?
Before we had a nice car, I used to have a car fork that was in my car door that lived there for about 12 months that I ate every car meal with, which is so rotten. I'm not allowed to do that anymore
because I judge. Yeah. That's not a thing. When you're married to Slee Raw, we don't eat with fucking dirty forks, fam. Yeah. We've got check-ins to do. Mads is going to take the first hit on the drive. Got lots happening. Lots has happened this week, as you guys on the socials will know. But I'm very excited.
And talking about health, I recorded a podcast last night with Dr. Dean from Supplement Needs. So if any of you don't listen to my podcast with Hannah Wares, the lovely little 212 bodybuilder, go and listen. It's on Spotify and Apple. If you want the link, come find it for me.
Irrelevant of the cheap plug, that's on No surrender series. One thing I want to say to all of you guys, thank you so much for your support so far. Like comments, likes, subscribes, shares, but just the overall like feedback. Like I've had lads come up to me in the gym, and I was literally in like tears. Like this lad came up to me in factory and was just like, bro, I just want to say like I'm loving your vlog, and I was like, stop it, and I fucking said, oh, just give me a hug, and he was like, yeah, alright bro, like sweet, but like I like your vlog. So I just want to say thank you for all your support. It means the world. We're not doing this for like clout. We're not doing this for anything other than the fact that we just want to share our journey with you, and the fact that you guys are interested and supportive like means the fucking world. Honestly. So thank you very much for watching so far.
Corey's filling up the mobile with juice, as always, to be honest. But I'm driving first so we can split up check-ins, because obviously being on the road early and being busy all day, we still need to check people in. So I'll drive first, Corey's going to do check-ins, then we'll swap halfway, we'll flip, and that'll be my turn. It says we're going to get there at 11:45. That's nearly a 4-hour drive. That is long. I hope Stephen's got his pillow. And Monster. I'm going to go in and pay and fuel us up on some Monsters. That's what I'm going to do.
For all the preparation that I fucking go on about, forgot my yogurt. But it's alright because I've got yogurt. So when I say always be prepared, but also always make sure that when you are prepared, you're actually fucking prepared. So the message of the story, guys, is be prepared to be prepared, prepared. Oof. I've just been for a wee. That's number 1 of the trip. I've got 5 check-ins left. I'm not behind on time. And Mads is going to tell me to get in the car. So Stephen, get in the fucking car. Whilst we are en route and we are closing in on the 30 minutes out mark, I thought I'd give you guys a bit of an insight as to what we are actually doing at the Blood Labs today. So yes, we are going for health assessments, and yes, we are going to give you an insight into why the priority of health assessments throughout different phase specific goals, whether that be me in prep at the moment or Mads in push phase at the moment, and why that's important. But we're trying to put our heads together with the Blood Labs. I say we are putting our heads together with the Blood Labs, number 1, so we can create a partnership for support for our clients specifically at Raw Coaching. Not only that, we're trying to collaborate and think of ways that we can support all competitive athletes throughout the bodybuilding field and scene and industry and environment, because some of the things that can be quite difficult for us as athletes could be price or cost efficiency, and there should never be a situation where we're putting assistance in our body without focusing on our health first. And I'll always say, if you can't pay for your health assessments, you can't pay for your gear, and that is the rule at Raw Coaching. However, we want to try and map out some phasing parameters for what clients and competitors will actually need. So we're also going there for not only health assessment priorities for us during our phases, but also a way that we can actually build out products that we can bring to clients and individual competitors across the UK. So that's one of the reasons why we're going today, and I'm super excited, and Mads is as well. Sit down with Chris finally after a number of Zoom calls and really see what we can put together for you guys, anyone watching, moving forward this season and seasons to come. So stay tuned for that. But we are 30 minutes out. Me and Mads have only had 1 meal. I'm quite happy about it because of the fact that I've been distracted with work and check-ins. I know Mads is like probably thinking, you bastard, but it just means that I'm able to push my meals back a little bit today, which is nice. But you're hungry, you babe? You're starving. Try being on prep with peeled glutes. You're not the only one who's been on prep with peeled glutes.
My glutes are more peeled than yours are right now, so
I don't remember you being fucking 98 kilos when you last competed.
You're eating 300 grams of carbs. Don't complain.
Anyway, see you soon, guys. I've just stopped Mads from biting into a bagel. So we got a couple of tests that we could be doing today: echocardiograms, calcium scores, as well as full blood panel. Now the reality is, if you're going to get your bloods done, I personally don't advise my clients that they have to fast. I think the reality is, whatever time you do it, providing obviously you're following good nutritional practices, it doesn't really matter. One of the main focuses for me, my advice would always be to ensure that you're hydrated, to ensure that if you are going to do it fasted, make sure that you've taken on a minimum of a litre of water, for example. However, I don't want to piss Chris off, and we're also driving to fucking Manchester. So rather than us getting there and me being full,
Of course, he said fast for 2 hours.
told you, fast for 2 hours. So that's Chris's advice. Again, there's going to be a number of different tests being done. If you're getting bloods done, personally, I don't have a problem with you eating prior, but obviously within time. What did he say, 2 hours?
You just said ideally.
Ideally 2 hours. I say minimum of an hour, so fast.
Why would you say an hour when you're not the fucking doctor? He's the man.
No, I'm saying what we would normally advise.
Oh. Here we go.
It's just pissed. So yeah, if you're gonna get your bloods done, make sure you're hydrated. Most importantly, fast for 1 to 2 hours. What's happening, guys? Welcome to my crib. This is Blood Lab's crib. This is the reception. You see, we've got some swanky. Oh, it's actually really nice.
It is very nice. He's done a very
nice.
nice spot. So I'm hoping Chris is going to make an appearance. Otherwise, I'm going to end up taking Corey's blood, I think. But I'm looking forward to this. Although I'm very hungry and I feel definitely like I should have eaten this morning, but we won't talk about that. So waiting for Chris and we'll see what we are doing. See what he's got in store.
Yeah, cool. I'm gonna hug him so hard. Very sensitive at the moment. I love a hug. I don't know, I love a cuddle. Love a cuddle.
Excuse the Crocs.
Not at all, mate.
You okay?
Don't excuse the Crocs. Corey wears Crocs all the time.
Okay.
Yeah,
Big
so-
Daddy, guys, this is Chris. He is the
The Blood
founder
Lab.
and he is the Blood Lab. Very, very grateful.
We're a relatively bigger team than we were a year and a half ago now.
Yeah.
So we've got 8 clinicians, another doctor on board. I'll take you upstairs and the actual brains of the Blood Lab in a second.
Yeah,
I'm just going to mark these up and with you straight away, okay?
What is so incredible about Chris, and Chris was one of the first people I spoke to after my first heart attack last year. He gave me so much time, put my mind at ease, put me in a position of knowledge, and bar all of the incredible things that the brand stands for specifically, he actually cares. And being in a position where we can put our heads together, and drive the message forward that we're all trying to achieve, because most importantly, yeah, okay, like we all want to progress, but we want to progress safely and be able to progress as much as we possibly can for as long as we possibly can. And he shares that enthusiasm and shares that thought and message. So being able to be here, meet in person finally, properly. I cuddle him every time I see him. I've seen him about 100 times. I don't even know what I'm
Chris
talking
can probably give a bit more of an insight as well, but Chris started this because he was a bodybuilder and went through
Trying to be a bodybuilder,
went through his own health implications. He is a doctor, and therefore was like, there is no help out there really for bodybuilders who are going through their bodybuilding journey in terms of health.
Yeah, and I can speak on behalf of the majority of the doctors in the UK, is that we simply just don't get taught about it, and that's deadly honest. We get taught about, elements of endocrinology. We get taught about the thyroid axis and the gonadal axis and everything in between, but the implications of arguably what is the biggest thing in the UK at this moment in time, we just don't get taught about. So, and this is the beauty of the industry, is that we are actually now in a position where we're being taught by coaches in some regard. Well, you know, like yourself, you know, you're bringing real life cases to us that we have to go away and figure out. And that's brilliant. And you know, we speak openly about, we are as much about the coaches in this company as we are about the doctors, because at the end of the day, it's the coaches that will go out there and will educate the people. You know, it's the coaches that bring people to us for treatment. So,
Yes.
you know, that's why we're very strong in it, and hopefully we'll have a long relationship with you two guys as well.
Yeah, it's exciting. Stick me with a needle. It's been a while.
Well, a good friend of mine from college, she doesn't just do physiotherapy, she's trained in medical Botox as well.
Cool.
So for females from an aesthetic perspective, especially in the bodybuilding industry, they can often sometimes build quite large masculine traps. Okay.
Yes.
And sometimes in certain categories that's not really wanted. We want a more feminine look.
Yeah.
Emily can relax the traps back down and make it look like a more of a swan neck than as opposed to a big bulky neck. Okay. This is the recovery suite. It has it's pending a renovation because we've only just come in here, but obviously you've got the infrared sauna, you've got the ice bath, you've got the massage chair. We've been very kindly sponsored by Hyperice, so one of our investors, well, the only investor we've got, Ryan Terry, he's sponsored by Hyperice and very kindly give us the kit. Ice bath, very similar, they give us an ice bath and obviously the infrared bits, but yeah, very, it should be looking a lot better. We've gone for the whole, it was supposed to be clinical, but now we're going for a little bit more of an attractive look. Okay.
One thing that is really nice already, like you come in here and you can tell that it's been full investment. Like nothing is done by half measures, and I expect nothing less from
yeah.
you anyway.
So again, we're very open. Me and Becky are very open. I'll introduce you to Becky in a second. We're very open at the fact that, you know, that over the last 18 months we've become a relatively reputable company.
Yeah.
We've done really well in terms of clientele, but I can guarantee every single penny that we've made, we've reinvested back into the company.
Also very humble.
No, so I was, you know, me and Becky speak openly. Like we both had really good jobs. I was obviously working in the NHS. Becky was working in pharmaceuticals, and we were earning a fraction of what we were earning back then doing this. But it's so much more fulfilling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll make it to you.
Change the world.
Cool. I'll show you upstairs.
Yeah. Hello. Right. Ah, funny.
So this is the actual boss. She's on a call at the minute, as you can tell, working hard. I just play with dogs all day. And this is the actual other boss. So both of which have more authority than me. So Alicia's very new to the company, but she's helping with the communication with clients. Because that was one of the things that we forced her to.
So I'm just trying to think of Joe things local because I know you have got obviously your son and got full-time working. So we can make that work with local talk. It would probably be maybe like 2 weekends, like 2 days out of the week. And then the next one.
It's super smart in here, mate. You've done a really nice job.
Thank you.
Mind if I go for a week?
Just moved into here.
December.
December.
Yeah, toilet's just about through there, but yeah. Yeah, December. Before that, I don't know if you saw Rob Taylor's video when we first met Rob, but we were in the back office of a very small gym to a point where like there was electrics hanging off the wall and everything. So it was crazy. And then we went to another gym in Altrincham, Evolve, and we had a similar setup to what this looks like.
Yes.
And then we thought, you know, now is the time to invest. We needed multiple rooms at the same time. You know, we run echo clinics, we run recovery days and stuff like that. So we just needed something that was a little bit more clinical.
Yes.
You know, long term, the plan is to have a surgical room in here as well. So if people have issues with anything, we can get it sorted.
You want your own space as well, don't you? That's your own business. You want to be in your own building with your own place.
And the area as well, it almost adds reputability to the company because the area, so it's a very affluent area. You know, it's in the middle of a very nice place. You probably saw on the way up.
Yeah, well, when we drove in, I know the area because some of my family are from here. And
Right,
they said,
okay.
oh, it's in a nice area. And as we drove through, I was like, it's done really well here.
Yeah,
it's a nice spot.
So we've got Marcus Rashford that lives literally half a mile on that way.
Yes.
All the footballers live around the corner. Yeah. So it's, you know, we go into dinner in Hale, and like you can see me also out of Cheshire and stuff like that. But for business, that means that we're in the right position.
Yes.
You know, we're not scrimping and scraping when it comes to renting anywhere. We're putting a lot of investment into making sure that we're being in a reputable position.
Yes.
that's half of it. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do bloods.
Yes.
We're also going to do an ECG each as well.
Okay, cool.
And basically, depending on what the ECG comes back like, we will either bring you back up for an echocardiogram or we will do it however you want to do it. Okay?
Yeah, that's really cool because like Corey's obviously had a lot of testing done through his cardiac issues, so echoes, MRIs, all sorts. I've never actually had a scan. My heart's never been looked at, so that will be interesting.
Okay, so we work directly with David Oxford at the University of Liverpool.
Yeah, so that's who Corey saw.
Yeah, and we also work with alongside Brock Cooper as well.
Yes.
Who's his right hand man. So we have our echocardiographer Bailey, who reports all the echoes. If anything is untoward at all, which there can be, if it's out of the realms of what we would regard acceptable for the population, we'd always send it off for a secondary request. ECG wise, we've just partnered with a new company for the reporting side of things. You'll get a report within 24 hours. The report comes with the traffic light system, so green, amber or red.
Nice and easy for you to understand.
Very, very easy. So I'll show you the breakdown of it in a minute, but it really is just the simplest thing you'll see. Okay, so I'll get you under the chair so you can just sit down and I'll get my stuff together from downstairs and we'll go from there. All right?
Interesting. Very exciting to be here. I think again, just that purpose of what we're actually trying to achieve in the industry. Things don't get changed unless they're changed, right? Unless you actually put boots on the ground and you actually start making some moves. And I'll be honest, I'm on the fucking floor, absolutely starving. I'm broken, I've been up since 4:30. But an opportunity to come and actually sit down with Chris, go through this today, show you guys actually what goes into the reality of trying to change the narrative in bodybuilding. And in the sport that I love, and in the sport that has completely changed my life for good and bad. We've got to be here and we've got to be doing this. And I'm very, very grateful for Chris. I'm grateful for the Blood Labs. I'm in a way, and you know what, like being here, I never thought I would say this, I'm in a way almost grateful for what has happened, because it's sent me down a path of improvement, development, not only myself as a bodybuilder and a coach, but as a person overall, and an individual in this sport. So I'm very, very grateful. Here's a man. Let's do this.
Okay, so what you'll get is a report like this. Now I've blocked out obviously the name of the person on there, but you'll break down absolutely everything. Okay, so it'll be a breakdown of absolutely everything. So the QRS duration, QTC, P wave. Then we actually look at the actual trace itself.
Nice.
Have a look at the trace. We also do what we call an overlap. So for every heartbeat we overlap it and see exactly kind of what the change in the frequency would be.
Nice.
And then you get a breakdown at the bottom as well. Okay. The most important thing is though you get a little bit of a risk factor there.
Good.
And then basically whether I've done my job right or not because of ECG quality.
Yes. This is very important because again we start to talk about the stages and phases in terms of health assessments and importance. So one of the great things about Blood Labs and Chris specifically, and things that we have spoken about, is the importance of what tests you actually need and when you actually need it. And an ECG is great, and I'll be completely open and transparent with you guys. When I went in for my first heart attack, my ECG showed fuck all, absolutely nothing. But the rest of the health assessments that were done in triage showed enormous problems. Now, one of the great things, again, about these opportunities is to understand that just because you're having one test done doesn't mean you don't need another one done, and that's what we're trying to map out in terms of timeline, specificity for us as athletes trying to pursue our fitness goals and competitive goals specifically. We want to be in a position where we can say, right, okay, well, is it necessary to have an echocardiogram done every 3 to 6 months? Probably not. If you're somebody like myself, absolutely, and I have it done on a very, very regular basis. However, for someone who doesn't show any signs of poor health, should we say, and there isn't any underlying health issues genetically, they're not genetically predisposed, they're in a position where they can say, right, on a yearly basis, if you are an assisted athlete who undergoes 1, 2, 3,000 milligrams worth of androgen exposures a year, an echocardiogram on an annually basis is an absolute must. And then
I think also what's really important to know is the type of testing that can be done for the heart. Now, A 12-lead ECG is what we call an ambulatory ECG. So that means is it's meant for when someone is having symptoms. Effectively, it's meant for people that are short of breath, are dizzy, that kind of thing. So that's the main causation for it. Now, bodybuilders will do it to see if there's anything underlying, and that's completely fine. But I would say out of I think we've done 480 ECGs. Only around 13 of them have shown anything that's actually of note. So we thought, okay, what's the logical next step? Because a person, they can come and say, listen, I've been having palpitations at night, don't feel great, and that's a symptom, that's great. But when they sit down, that symptom doesn't occur. Okay? Yeah. So we now have 24-hour ECG monitoring as well. Okay, so 24 all the way up to 14-day ECG. Okay, so you basically pop it. You come into clinic, we fit it to the middle of your chest, it sits just underneath your sternum, you can go about your daily life, it won't impact you at all, you'll be able to exactly trace exactly what's going on throughout the day. Yeah. So when you're training, because the majority of people get it through training, we're also hopefully by April going to be offering what we would regard as like a stress echo and a stress ECG as well, so using a treadmill, etc. while you're exercising to see how it works there. Because if we think about the demographic of people that we're working with, they're sports people. Okay, the majority of issues they're going to face are while they're exercising.
Yeah, I mean most of us generally, hopefully, are actually pretty fit. So, like Chris said, like we're not going to be in a position where sat in a nice, comfy building, like with nice people, where we're stressed at all. Under 200-300 kilos worth of load in different movement patterns, that's when we're going to be under stress. Or potentially not, depending on how strong you are, obviously. But that's where these advancements, and again, what is so incredible. I'm gonna sing these guys' praises literally because health is so important to me, and we all know the reason why. So anyone who is making a conscious effort to try and make the industry better and try and deter people from being in my position and prevent that, like needs to be supported and sung the praise of. So.
I think the question is as to why hasn't it happened sooner. Why has it taken a company like ourselves to do stuff like this? Obviously, there was other competitors in the marketplace, and they're absolutely brilliant as well. But I think I would always feel I certainly felt when I was in inverted commas bodybuilding.
Not that you could tell that he is a bodybuilder
not
still.
A bodybuilder, just a little fat lad. Yeah. I just felt, even though I was in the NHS, I felt so distant from help. Because you don't really, not to be prejudiced, but the majority of doctors that you would go to would be potentially older and maybe not have the same mindset as you guys do. And that's why the company started, was purely on the basis that I was in a position where I didn't feel as if there was help out there for me, even as an educated doctor at the time and even now. So we wanted to kind of break down that barrier where possible. And I think we've done a relatively good job.
Done an amazing job.
Perfect. So who wants to go first?
Ladies first.
Yeah, if you
okay,
like.
so 2 on your wrists. You're going to have 2 on your ankles, okay? And these are what we call the limb leads. You're then going to have another 6 dotted across the chest. Okay, so what I will do, I will feel on the middle of your chest bone to feel for what we call the angle of Louis. That's basically an indication of where we should put the first 2 electrodes. Okay? Then from there, we'll branch underneath the breast itself, the mid-clavicular line, and then just underneath the armpit as well. Okay?
It's interesting, like as much as this shit, I actually quite enjoy having this done because it's just a reconfirmation of not only the position I'm in, but the reality that I am doing something about it. Like I'm very, very grateful to be in supported hands, I suppose. And it's only when you actually face genuine, severe health issues that can end your life. Although I don't want that to sound preachy, that you're in a position where it's just like, do you know what, I'm actually pretty fucking lucky. And people like Chris that put me in a position where I can have that. He works very closely with David Oxborough, Rob Cooper. These are guys that have given me echocardiograms, put me in a position, yes, okay, where unfortunately they're telling me, yeah, my heart is fucked. And this is the reality of what I'm looking at. But at least I'm in a position where I've got support from these individuals, and that's really, really fucking special. Essentially keep me alive. And bodybuilding, which is always nice.
I think what is important for people to understand as well, and this is like female specific, I think that women think that because they're not guys and they might not be running hundreds and hundreds or thousands of milligrams of assistance, that means maybe they don't need to worry about things like their heart or more intricate details of their body that maybe the bloods aren't going to show. And that isn't the case. You know, Corey, for example, yes, he's a male, but he had a genetic predisposition to having heart issues. You may not know that that's an issue for yourself. So small amount of androgens, small amounts of external pressures and stresses on the body may cause effects that you might not be aware of. So male or female, so for the women watching this, do consider this. If you are taking assistance and you are an assisted female, you're taking PEDs, then it is something that you do need to think about. You know, it's something that I've never had the opportunity to be able to be looked at, definitely not through the NHS, and Chris is the first person that's been able to do this privately for us in the UK. So I think male or female, it is important, but women, don't just think that because you're female and maybe you take very small amounts of PEDs that this isn't something that you also need to think about yourself.
Yeah, I think an important note on that, especially because I was speaking to this one the other day, Dean.
Yes.
So females think, oh well, I'm natural, but I'm going to a competition. That's fantastic, you know. But then by the end of the competition, hypothalamic amenorrhea, no period, brilliant. So what happens with hypothalamic amenorrhea, along with everything else, is your estrogen drops through the floor. Okay, what's one of the main functions of estrogen to try and protect the heart? Okay, so if people are thinking like, oh, I shouldn't get my heart checked on because I'm a female, I'm natural, you're well out. My country mile.
It's one of my biggest pet peeves with uses of like AIs. Anything that drives down estrogen, and this is mainly probably more for male bodybuilders also, although I've seen AI use and practice in females as well, which is fucking also completely barbaric, but to be fair, probably not necessary for the way that they're coached in the first place, because they crash their E2 regardless. It's like the main fun, and the reason in superphysiological range that we see estrogen kick up is, yes, okay, directly correlated to what we see in terms of testosterone being driven up naturally within superphysiological range, but it's as a protection method for the body. So neurologically, from a cardiac perspective, estrogen shows so many benefits, protection methods, in fact, for the body, and we're trying to take that protection method away. I almost call it like a safety net. It's just like you're removing your body's safety net by doing that. So fuck AI use.
And another thing as well, from a testing perspective, is that people don't understand that sometimes certain compounds that can be used can actually mess with the testing methods. So I can't actually name the compounds on camera, but certain compounds will interrupt and actually cause you to think you have actually higher estrogen than you do.
Like skew. Yeah.
Skew them completely, yeah.
There you go.
But there's nothing there that would be anything worse than you probably already know.
Yes.
Is the best thing I can say.
I think one of the positives are also there's nothing getting worse. Like the practices that I'm taking to try and ensure that I can still do this and I can still create some kind of longevity out of the sport and industry that I want to work and perform in. It's not like fucking hell. Like every time I do one of those, just like, mate, we need to have a look at this, and then the data coming back is worse. Yeah. So that's also.
If it was on a gradual decline, then obviously the advice would be to, you know, probably have a think about another way of doing things. But the fact of the matter is, you're doing it the safest physical way you can do it at this moment in time.
Yes.
And you're not blind. You know,
Thank you, man.
you're not blind to the fact that you know that there's something previously been wrong. You've also not been, you know, extremely stupid and just carry on doing what you were doing.
Yes.
And again,
after it's had enough from you the first time we had a conversation.
you probably are going to have to stop though, because I'm like, can you not just say I can carry on?
So again, with stuff like that, it's just a sudden realisation that, you know, and it took a long time for me to kind of play that conversation back in my head, because for me it's easy to say stop bodybuilding.
Yes.
I can say to you, just stop. You know, you're best off just stopping.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's like someone saying to me, you have to stop doing run lab.
Yes.
I wouldn't know where to put myself. You know, when your day to day is literally what you're doing, for someone to come up to you and say you've got to stop must be horrendous.
Yes.
So you found an alternative route, which is brilliant. You can pop your top back on. I'm going to get my kit ready for blood taking now.
this is the thing is, for me it was just a case of that the naivety and just sheer desire, and that's the biggest upsetting thing for me with coaches. Like, you've got a willing body there that will do anything.
Yeah.
Just slow down.
Yeah.
Like my progression, if I wanted to be a super heavyweight bodybuilder, I didn't need to do it in one season. And I didn't need to take 4.5 grams of gear a week. I didn't need to do that. It's fucking ridiculous.
But at the same time, and I think you think about yourself when you first started coaching, right? If a guy comes to you and he's got masses of potential, and you know you can get a pro card, what's the first thing you do?
Yeah.
You try and mush it as quickly as you can to get that pro card, because as soon as he gets it, you pop that in your bio, job done. You know.
And that's what it comes down to. It's results, and also being confident in the fact of, well, I'm a good coach, I will get you there, so don't have that scare factor of what if they leave me and go somewhere else.
Yeah, but I think it used to be like that, even like 1 to 2 years ago, was like, oh, results, you need to get this, you need to get that, and now it's shifting. Like, that conversation is shifting.
Yeah.
People are talking more about, okay, well, you don't need to do it in one season, and the guys that are coming to you and talking to you, massive amounts of potential, and they're saying, oh, I'm with this coach at the moment, and they're doing this, this, and this, and I'm watching what you're doing, and I feel like it's not right, and I've got a missus, and I've got a year-old kid, and I don't want to die. It's like, yeah, okay, well, you're probably not going to, but you don't need to take that protocol, and it is shifting. Like, more people are having the conversations around, like, I want to do this, but like, I am also a little bit scared.
I think people have also got to take control of the fact that at the end of the day they're paying the coach for a service. If they're not happy with what they're getting for that service, speak up.
Yeah.
You know, because if you think for any reason that your coach is putting you in danger, you speak up.
Yes.
You know, there is enough people out there to ask whether what the coach is doing is wrong and get an honest answer.
Yeah.
But again, then we go down to the argument of, you know, what is wrong? You know, because some people are still of the mindset that, you know, in order to get a pro level physique, you have to be running over a gram.
Yes.
100%.
100%.
You know, so it's completely it's a minefield. I would not want to be a coach if it was the last thing on earth, because I'd be petrified. Corey, you're on this one. Cool.
How do you fix the problem? Don't create it in the fucking first place.
But that's just a whole different minefield. We're not talking about that. Like.
Yeah, we wanted you to come on and talk about that. I think it's important, because we're trying to do quite a bit on talking about like natural females, because I mean, I'll talk about assisted females because people don't talk about it, and I think it's important people do talk about it, because women just pretend they're not taking on environment they are, which pisses me off, and it means people don't do it safely and they don't do it with the right guidance.
So with females, for me, it's always two methods, or two what I would call tick points. So it's the endocrinology side, so your thyroid, your hormones, and then the other side, which is absolutely massive, is the digestive side of things. Okay, you talk, and this is what me and Dean spoke about on the podcast, is that depending on what your diet's been like, whether you've been keto or you've been high fat, low carb, will depend on how you should manage your post prep health. You talk about gastric emptying rates. You talk about.
This was what we discussed when he joined us on Sunday. So we discussed basically how everything comes back down to that gut health.
Absolutely.
So even looking at, we were talking about the top 5 supplements you might have, something basic as a natural female.
These are probiotic.
Yeah, and it comes back to like a multivit, your thyroid stack, because these are the things which are going to fail. But they mainly fail due to poor nutrition. What you're doing with these supplements, you're replacing the things what you should be getting from your nutrition, what you're not getting from your nutrition, which then takes a hit on digestion. So really, when you look at people's thyroid function, when you look at everything that's going on in the body, pretty much it usually always comes back to your digestion, what you're putting in, and then actually how your body's like filtering that.
Yeah, completely. You okay with needles?
Yeah, of course. Just a little bit okay with needles.
Got good veins for the needles. Just a lack of carbohydrates.
To be fair, this should be the healthiest.
I was going to say, if you're not coming back like a TRT session, I'll be fuming.
I'll be fucking livid. I'll be frauded more than anything else. The amount of times that I've written natty during this prep on my fucking Instagram post.
Corey, why'd you test at 500?
Yeah, I was like, fucking hell, Chris. So we'll just cut this shit out if that's the case. It's very, very important, guys. Honestly, I can't stress the importance of doing this. And then understanding what you do with the information on the back end. Like, it's all very well and good. There's 3 stages to this, isn't there? There's implement, what do you do in medicine? Implement, assess, adjust, right?
Yeah.
Implement, assess, adjust. So take proactive measures to manage and support the longevity of your career, if it's going to be a career, of your journey. Then be in a position, off the back of that, you assess to ensure that the approaches you're taking are effective and they are working. And do you know what? Sometimes you're not going to get everything right, and then off the back of that, make the correct adjustments to ensure that you are moving forward in the right direction. Speak to the right people, go to the blood labs, get an educated coach who fucking cares, and you'll be in a position where if you want to go to Olympia, providing you've got the genetics, right, Chris? You'll get there. But if not, why can't you achieve a British title? Why can't you achieve an overall? Achieve your highest possible potential, but actually live to see it.
Your veins are almost as good as Corey's, Jesus. Very tough skin.
Yeah. You say that?
Yeah.
Is that when I try and put peptides in my knees? You're like, your skin is very tough, Matt.
I don't say that, I say fucking ass is fucking wrong.
No, just hurry up and do it.
Yeah, I think something me and Chris have just been talking about is the importance of females in any phase, whether you're like assisted or natural. And actually, I think as a natural female, sometimes this can be a little bit more important. And Chris will have his own opinion on this, but for me, a natural female, they often think that I'm natural, I don't take any enhancements, so I don't need to check my bloods, I don't need to see where I'm at because I'm natural. But that's not the case. Like, if you are natural, you're probably in a more compromised position, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to be in a position where you're not supporting your systems because you're not necessarily looking at your bloods, you're not taking anything to give you even a hormonal baseline or a thyroid baseline. Like, you are just running yourself kind of a bit on a free-for-all. So in checking this stuff is really, really important.
The most important thing to focus on, guys, and what is always going to give you the most amount of progress is stability, right? So whatever you do, providing you are creating or managing stability, you are going to be in a position where you are going to be able to progress at an optimal rate and also ensure consistency. So again, that's what we need to focus on. So natural or not, focus on the stability that you've got and the control that you've got, and having health assessments done is one of the ways you do that.
I'm okay, so can we just feel
Yeah, go on.
so I just felt a little bit dizzy during the venipuncture.
So I've fasted since I had breakfast at 6 o'clock this morning. I've not eaten since then.
Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit of a kind of a blood glucose thing, but also the fact that she's just had kneeling around. So we just gently laid her back, elevated her legs, and now she's feeling a little bit better, I think.
Yeah, ready for another knee in the mouth.
Ready for another one. Okie dokie.
Yeah, I know when it's coming. It's like a cloud that you get from the outside and it like comes in. Have you fainted before?
Yeah, it's tunnel vision.
Yeah, it's like tunnel vision. Everything starts to narrow like that. You can feel it coming on. Yeah. That hasn't happened for a very long time. I don't think I've fainted in.
You didn't really faint.
I didn't faint. I just felt it come in. So we just preventative measures. It helps if you understand your body a little bit, and I understand.
Chris, why do you wrap one of the blood results in tinfoil?
So it's accuracy of result more than anything. So there's a couple of markers, notably ferritin, that changes because it's relatively what we call photosensitive, so if it hits the light then it does change. These are only on a very short trip to the lab, they'll get there in about 15-20 minutes, but that's enough time for me especially to not have as accurate results as I want. Yeah. So we just basically protect the sample before it gets there.
There you go.
Another reason why the blood labs are the fucking bollocks.
Because obviously we do postal testing, which is fine.
Yeah.
But there is rules to the postal testing. It has to be sent within 24 hours and stuff like that. But
yeah.
you can imagine how anal we are in clinic about getting it to the lab within 15 minutes and stuff like that. Postal testing kits are fine, they'll do a job, but best practice, if possible, to get them into clinic.
But the thing is, you're relying on the reliability of the individual as well.
Yeah.
Like, and that's a pain in the ass, and that's something that we try and drive forward from a client management perspective. Like, right, if you're going to do this, take the correct approaches to get it done.
Absolutely, and that's why we partner with massive nurse network. So if you want to pay a little bit more to someone to come around us and do it properly, that's fine. Yeah. The chances are we will be in that town that month anyway. So as long as it's not an emergency-based test, which I assume the majority of the people will travel for anyway, we'll be there. Yeah. You know, we'll be having 5 days a week sites in Birmingham, London, Cardiff, and Manchester. So they'll be London. So they'll be open 5 days a week. Yes. So there is never going to be a day where someone can't come. Perfect. And then the rest of the other 31 locations are based kind of monthly. So Oxford, Plymouth, Stoke, Nottingham, Newcastle, Glasgow, Edinburgh. There's tons.
And providing we're managing our journey plan effectively, we've got the roadmap set out for when we're going to do health assessments, there is no fucking issue.
We'll find a way.
Right,
perfect. You guys are done. Really appreciate it. Your recent, and to be fair, a lot across the board, your social media presence at the minute is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So credit to you both.
I appreciate that.
We'd be daft not to have you on board, put it that way. And you're both lovely as well.
Thank
you make me do my job.
I was just testing you, I was actually fine.
Keeping you sharp.
I'm actually fine, I was just
testing that you actually knew what's in, just in case I feel like fame.
First carb meal of the day at, what is it? What time is it?
10 to 4.
10 to 4. Now you're probably all going to be jarring because I'm not weighing this out. However, I have 250 grams of yogurt. 250 grams of yogurt in my last meal per day, which is, this is supposed to be. However, I'm going to eat it now, and I'm going to spoon out what I would consider as half of it, and I'll have the other half tomorrow, because that's essentially the only non-jarring way I can do this. So I have, although this isn't my phage style, which really upsets me, I have 250 grams of yogurt, 80 grams of cereal with 10 grams of dark chocolate, and an apple. I'm going to eat this, and I'm going to pass you over to my beautiful wife, and she is going to sign you off. But guys, I just want to say a big love to you all. Thank you for being part of this journey. We've got so many exciting things that have happened so far on this journey already, and you guys are all part of it, and I'm grateful for all of your support and all of your love. I'm just going to start speaking. This is fucking amazing. See you next time. Peace.
A very worthwhile trip today. Although Corey's had to muddle his meals around a little bit, and obviously he's hungry because he's on prep, it's been a welcome distraction, I think, for him, and been very productive. And I can speak for both of us here at Raw Coaching, I guess, and just say, like, we are so grateful for the opportunities that are coming our way at the moment. We're very grateful for the people supporting us, grateful for Chris at the Blood Labs and everybody else that we work with, other companies and affiliates, to help grow bodybuilding to be a safer, happier, better place, and just grateful for everybody who is being involved as well. So it's been a really good day. We are about a third of the way home. I have got another monster, Stephen has got another monster, Corey's got some yogurt, I've also got a coffee, and I've got my laptop here full of replies to do. So we're going to get on the way back, and then me and Corey have got a training session. But it has been a fantastic day. Thank you everybody for watching. That is episode 5, I believe, done, and episode 6 will be incoming very shortly. Peace.